Alright, Infinity Kingdom. It is about to begin. It is the third season of the Illusion Battle Prime League. I'm very excited to be getting back into Prime League and battle it out with all of you IK heads for Illusion Battle Prime League Supremacy. In this guide, we are going to not really dive into anything too specific because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have no idea what's gonna be the core of the meta this time around. So what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna be presenting some things that I've been thinking about and reflecting about the past 2 seasons, and you're gonna listen to it if you want to, or you're gonna not, and maybe you can take something away from it. Maybe it can assist you in setting up your marches, figuring out new stuff. Maybe you're gonna be the one to dominate the meta this time with a brand new build that no one has seen before, because I do think that this meta will be different. We had builds from season 1 that was awesome, doing really well. Didn't work in season 2 because people had changed it up. People got better at it. People had made a new meta, and the builds were just so much better in season 2. I think that's gonna happen again. So I don't think we can just use the season 2 builds. As such, it's important to mention for me right here up front that this is not a regular guide. This is not the ones you're used to where I present like this is the best build for Prime League. I'm not going to do that. I don't have any concrete builds to share with you all yet, simply because I am not certain that any player is able to present a build that's going to be the best yet. We simply don't know. As all Prime League seasons, Season 3 will have its own meta. And with it, it's going to be new builds, and it's going to be builds that we haven't seen before. So I'm going to be real exciting to see some of them and maybe bring some of them here. But for now, I'm not going to be trying to tell you guys what is best because it's impossible to know. So instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little journey in my mind. I'm gonna explain my reasoning and my thoughts about previous seasons and how they reflect the builds that I'm gonna be creating and setting up for the first rounds. I hope that some of my ramblings will spark some ideas and lead you to whatever brilliant builds that you are gonna come up with on your own. Anyway, this little journey, it's some reflections on what worked well in previous seasons, as well as a few cautious predictions of what I think are gonna be trendy, at least in the meta to come. First up, fire. Is it king? Fire will most likely remain king. The damage of the fire dragon is simply so high, and the burst potential of the fire team so solid that if I was a betting man, I'd bet on fire remaining on top of the meta. We saw some extremely strong fire setups both in season 1 and in season 2, and I think that it's gonna stay that way. If you are looking for something easy plug and play, go find one of the season 2 fire builds. It's gonna work, it's gonna be competitive, it's gonna work just fine. But maybe someone figures out something that is gonna be slightly better, but it is gonna be good. And that's pretty simple. It's because the fire dragon just deals butt tons of damage and the fire immortals are all quite powerful. Furthermore, Khan and Charles variations have dominated previous seasons, especially in season 1, though we did see a drop off towards the end of season 2 as players filled out their tower knowledge skills. The impact of Charles and Khan both dropped quite significantly. The burst potential got so high that Charles couldn't really mitigate it, and people stopped running Earth Mortals, people stopped running healing and sustain, so the effectiveness of Khan and wounds dropped quite rapidly. Is that going to stay the same in IB Season 3? I don't know, but That's what I'm thinking anyway. Another thing I've been thinking about is wind, because wind did turn quite meh. It went pretty bad in the beginning. Remember back to season 1, the beginning of Prime League season 1, right? Wind was amazing because you had superior stats to everyone else. So before anyone, all the builds were bad in the beginning of season 1. Let's be honest here. I mean, everyone ran terrible builds in the beginning of season 1. So having these superior stats just meant that wind builds just owned everything. But pretty quickly it turned meh. It got terrible as fire got figured out, and I don't see it making a comeback. I think when you're going into season 3, you're gonna just drop wind. Don't try it anymore. We tried it. We tried it for season 1. We tried it for season 2. We tried building stuff with it. We tried, relying on superior stats for just slightly better value on the same skills and abilities. Doesn't work. So that's my take on wind anyway. For lightning, there was some, I'm gonna call them the sturdy fire wannabes. And I'm doing that because lightning was dismissed by many as something, just inferior to fire, or just not good enough because you had to run an awkward Richard or something like that. Many people underestimate YSG and things like that. But there were few players who were able to create some quite incredible lightning setups. They haven't been profiled that much because all the attention from season 1 and especially season 2 was on who can make the best fire build. But there are some pretty damn solid lightning builds coming out in season 2, and I think we might be able to, see. I think we may be far enough along on the whole IB League meta that lightning is gonna make quite a kickback. We had some, lining up the stun with Dragon Breath for massive fire-ish, if not better, damage. And just the insane burst of Genghis Khan in the back row is awesome. Moreover, seen as many players tend to run, or some at least tend to run Earth and Earth Wind variants. The hybrid worked very well in season 1, and people do still like the hybrid. Lightning and Khan setups is quite amazing. I think overall that many underestimate the power of lightning, and if set up correctly, I think that it can really be some crazy strong builds. Um, I, for one, am very keen to see what the best Lightning players of Infinity Kingdom are gonna be able to cook up for this season 3. I'm gonna stay very tuned. Every time I see a competitive Lightning, I'm really gonna pay attention to it because I think there might be something there. The last sort of point before going into what I'm going to be doing is water, because I think water might be the underdog that bites for Prime League. Water is almost instantly dismissed by a huge number of players as the weak element of Infinity Kingdom, and I think they're terribly wrong. I think that's bullshit, and I think that water can be incredibly powerful if done correctly. And I think that's the key, because I think there's a lot of players out there who's doing water wrong. There's quite a fair bit of potential within the realm of Water Immortals, especially Merlin. His crazy damage output can snuff out the flames of Fire Marchers very, very quickly. The biggest problem with water is the Water Dragon, especially for IB Prime League. The Water Dragon is just, it's an unreliable control and a slow sustain in a game setup where you're on low troop counts and pump and dump mechanics are king. That's what happens in Prime League. That it's just not a match. So what you want to do is swap it out. The elemental buffs are not that big of a deal, meaning you can easily swap out at least one, if not two, immortals, including a dragon, and still retain that 3 buff, which is the most important one. Perhaps you can even do some crazy stuff where you go lower, but then it's not really a water setup anymore. Anyway, I think that using the fire dragon in the backline, setting up a water setup can be quite terrifying, and especially in the fire dominated meta. And season 2, I saw multiple examples of how, for instance, a Cleo Merlin setup with a fire dragon in the backline were able to take down top tier fire setups simply because you have you are on par with a fire dragon. Fire dragon versus fire dragon. You're not behind from the get-go. Moreover, the Cleo just countering magical damage in a Cyrus Wu meta. It's awesome because all the damage you're taking is magic, right? So if this Cyrus Wu keeps, this is of course not for the initial round, right? This is gonna be for playoffs because you can't do shit with fire as long as you need, with water as long as you need to run Yoshi, right? So you're gonna need to do stuff like Cleo Merlin, Matilda Merlin, and you need that Ragnar up there, up front, right? So you won't be able to use this until the playoffs. But in the playoffs, if the Fire Cyrus stays meta, I think that a Cleo Merlin, Ragnar Attila Fire Dragon setup is going to be extremely powerful. Anyway, that was sort of what was that, 3, 4, 5 things that I've been sort of thinking about as I am trying to figure out what I think is going to be good for season 3. I'm trying to figure out what basket to lay my eggs in and what kind of builds I want to make. And true to form, I'm going to be starting round 1 and the initial stage of IB Prime League with doing some crazy stuff. I'm not going to be saying, okay, I think I got the best build right off of day 1, because I don't think anyone can. What I'm going to be doing is mixing up some stuff. I'm going to be trying some different builds, trying a lot of crazy stuff and see what lands, see what works, see what I'm up against, see where the meta's going. So what I will be running for this one is going to be a Fire Cleo in Formation 1. I'm going to be trying to counter the enemy magic damage with Cleo and then pumping as much chase damage as I can with a highly upgraded chase and weakness order. On Wu, of course. I'm also going to be doing a Lightning Water hybrid in Formation 2. This is a total control setup. Running both Richard, Attila, and then backline AoE big damage dealers Merlin and Khan. And I think if I can land the Richard stun and then get some consistent silences in there, I'm going to be able to backline disrupt enemy fire teams hard enough for my Khan and Merlin to make up the difference. That's the idea anyway. Fire Merlin in Formations 3. Kind of the same thing as with Fire Cleo, right? But instead of debuffing reduced magical damage, we're just taking up a Merlin, a more offensive build. So we're running 2 backline DPSs. Merlin capable of pumping out massive damage. I'm not going to be sharing these builds because for one, they are not worthy of being shared. They're not done. It's just something I'm just trying some crazy stuff right now. And also I'm still making up, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm making up my mind as to whether I'm going to be sharing complete finished Prime League builds as long as my own alliance is in running. I don't know yet, so maybe there's going to be a few out. We'll see. Anyway, these are kind of, I hope you enjoyed this little visit to my mind, this little journey in what I'm thinking about when going into season 3. This is what I'm gonna be doing, approaching build creation for Prime League season 3. If you want to talk concrete results with me, exchange your setup from mine, and also how it worked out, because that's really what I'm interested in. I'm not so much interested in sending builds as I am in a mutual exchange of experience. If you're into that kind of thing, join the IK Wiki Discord, hit me up, send me some DMs, we'll talk. With that, and for all of you, if any of you are still watching right here to the end and bared with me for so long, best of luck in season 3. Let's have some fun, and I'm looking forward to perhaps facing you in battle. Maybe you're gonna beat me back to Norheim. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. As always, please do subscribe to the channel. I consistently release new content here on the IK channel and on the official IK Wiki website. Links are in the description. On these channels you can find guides from everything in IK, from events to talents, passives, finished builds, and game mechanics. With that, I'm gonna leave you, and as always, thank you for watching, and see you for the next one.